Pa, pararara, para, parara, pa, pararara, para, parara. No sé cuándo te volveré a ver. Tú me das largas otra vez. Busco en el álbum familia, alguna foto quedará. Miro la calle Mayor, dentro del contenedor. A veces estás dentro del contenedor, para que no te vea yo. Para que no te vea yo. Parará, parará, parará. Pa, parará, pará, parará, pa, parará, pará, parará. Las mozas me por dejado caer.
Yeah, maintenance. Maintenance is a big one. We're always just fixing things, making sure that things run, getting them fixed on time so we can do the jobs that we need to do. And sometimes they break just when you're doing the work or when you need them the most. One thing about farms and small farms like ours out of the way is that there's no tractor dealership, and there's no parts stores that have the right parts and so on. So everything has to come from Vancouver or Winnipeg. And so consequently, we always end up trying to fix it ourselves. You know, we have a cutting torch and a welder and old equipment and old parts, and we fix things as we go. Sometimes it's a lot quicker to spend a half a day fixing something than to order a part. All farmers seem to be mechanics, but there are some good mechanics that can help you with certain things, but it's more of an ongoing thing where you can't afford to have a mechanic hired for months and months in the spring on a small farm. You just fix things as you go. A little old tractor. I just did some research on how you get weeds out of organic crops. I bought it in Cloverdale off an old Chinese farmer who was selling his farm, and I heard that he had this tractor. He promised me that it worked when he parked it 20 years ago or whatever, and sure enough, I just put a new battery in it, and it started up and it worked beautiful. You can go down a 300-foot row in a minute and weed the whole bed 4 rows at a time, and do by hand. It would take you hours and hours and days, Well, you hope it doesn't break. You can find parts, you can find old parts, but the things that's hard to get from them is the equipment, like the cultivators and the weeders and that go with them. Before they used sprays, they used small tractors like that you could get very close to the crop, have a very good look at it, and do intricate weeding with that basket weeding system that it has on it. The bigger tractors nowadays, you can hardly even see the crop, you're up so high. I saw the bicycle weeder in a seed catalog, and it cost about $350 American. So we went into the shop and we built one in about 15 minutes, and it can weed 100 times faster than a hand weeder. You just zip along, and the only glitch with the bicycle weeder is for some reason it only works in reverse. Sorting is terrible, boring work. Farmers have big lots, big sheds of potatoes, different varieties, and they're graded out in the spring. They're growing season previous, harvested in the fall, stored all winter, and then sold in the spring as seed. And the seed potatoes are actual potatoes. It's not seeds like flower seeds or something. They're handled in bulk mainly, and sales are usually around between 15 tons to for a smaller farmer to 30 ton, 35 ton truckloads for a bigger farmer, and some of the biggest farmers will take 100 tons or 200 tons of potatoes of one variety, and that's quite a big sale. One year we got a call from Idaho, and he just said, "No, I'm sorry, I can't take those 3,000 sacks. You'll have to find something else to do with them." We ended up selling them as eating potatoes, and we took a huge cut. We probably got maybe 60% less than we should have, and that's a bad year. And you can't have many of those bad years before you go broke. So we tried to steer away from that. We thought, okay, what are our options? So we've gotten into organic seed potatoes because we like the seed potato business. We didn't like the chemical part of the seed potato business, and so we're doing it on a smaller scale with organic potatoes, and we're one of the only organic seed potato producers in Canada now. We're a little bit early, but there is some demand, and what we can't sell as organic seed potatoes, we can sell as organic table potatoes or eating potatoes, because there's a strong market for that right now. So we have right there, for starters, we have our eggs in 2 baskets, because we can sell them as seed or table potatoes. And when we had conventional potatoes, we couldn't do that. My dad always wanted to have a bulldozer. He ran a bulldozer in the Second World War, and he never had enough money to ever buy one. But then finally we had a little extra money, and there was this cute little bulldozer that could do, amazing farm work. And so anyways, we bought it, and we load manure with it and level ground, and it's pretty small, but it does little jobs like that. Tractor tires cost a lot. $750 for a back tire, and they're very expensive. So you don't want to run over a little stick or a root or something. They actually slice pretty easily on the sidewalls, and we've gone through lots. A lot of these farmers are sitting on land that's worth millions. They really just want a farm. We're living in a little bit of a new community now. There's a lot of new people. They could be our customers. Like in the past, every potato ever grown in Pemberton was just shipped to Idaho, shipped to Washington, shipped to California or Alberta. Everything went out, and there was really hardly any, other than people who grow their own vegetable gardens. There was hardly anything grown in this valley that was eaten in this valley. There was no connection between the town folk and the country folk. That link wasn't there. Cows, they fit in really well. They eat the cold potatoes. They graze the grass. They give us food. They give us another source of income, and they fit pretty well with vegetable farming as long as you have good fences. So we keep a breeding herd of about 30 head, and each spring they'll calve, and the calves will run around during the season, and around fall, we'll bring them in for the castration program. It's kind of part of farm life to go and get in the pen, and yeah, it's a little bit of excitement, and it is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. It's a little rough, but it really doesn't last that long, and I think they have a lot of fun with it too, the animals. It's actually just a necessary thing that we have to do on the farm. You can't have 30 bulls running around breeding the cows willy-nilly. You have to have your one breeding bull or your two breeding bulls, and the rest have to be steers.
Mais il va l'avoir deux fois. Volando voy, volando vengo, vengo, ay volando voy, volando vengo, vengo por el camino, yo me entretengo, por el camino, yo me entretengo, y enamorado de la vida, que a veces duela, y enamorado de la vida, que a veces duela, si tengo frío. Busco candela, y si tengo frío, busco candela, volando, volando voy, volando vengo, vengo, ay volando voy, volando vengo, por el camino, yo me entretengo, por el camino, yo me entretengo, ay señora, ay señora, ay señora.
Well, there's two trends growing at the same time. The one that's growing fastest is the mega farms, where you can't. For example, you can't make a living on a grain farm in the prairies unless you're farming about 10,000 acres. That's where you start to make a reasonable profit. Wow, 30 years ago that was 1,000 acres, and 20 years ago it was 2,000 acres. Costs are rising so high that you have to farm more and more land. Well, that's because they're not selling directly. They're selling a commodity, and commodity markets trade at the lowest price, and there's always someone out there willing to sell at a lower price. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to go directly to the consumers and get the full food dollar for our product. So the difficulties involved in that are that we have to learn how to grow all these different food products, or all this different produce. We have to learn how to grow it, and we have to market it. There's lots of costs involved in that, but at least we have options, and they're exciting options, and it's fun to do, and we're not getting pushed around by the market for commodities, cheap potatoes or whatever. So there's two trends. Farms are getting bigger, and at the same time there's this small, local, organic, not necessarily organic, but in a lot of cases it can be done organically, and it's really growing too. It's kind of a grassroots movement where people are saying, no, I don't believe you, Canadian government. I don't believe that we need GMOs. I don't believe Monsanto that we need GMOs. I don't believe that we have to be bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and sell into these international markets. What we believe is that if we grow good food and deliver it locally, that can work for us. we've gone from having 1 or 2 customers to having hundreds of customers. Now we have hundreds of customers. They're very supportive. They bring us the full food dollar instead of the 20% of the food dollar that we used to get, and it works. And it's a real grassroots movement, and some of the bigger farmers and government types are kind of looking at it and saying, hey, look, how did this happen? These people are successful without our help, without our interference. How did this happen? Before we started growing mixed vegetables, there wasn't, it was mainly just potatoes. There wasn't many people growing other crops, and we've tried a bunch of different crops. We've tried a bunch of different, more importantly, we've tried a lot of different marketing avenues, and that's what the seed potato growers don't have. They have only one way of marketing them. That's into the commodity market, and it's risky. So people are a little leery of what we're doing and whether it's going to affect them, but I think they're also interested to see that we're having some success in other areas, and nobody wants to lose their farm just because the price of potatoes is low. We're trying to grow as big a diversity of vegetables as we can, and we're trying to show the customers that there's a way that they can eat those by eating whole food and eating fresh vegetables weekly and so on. That's a pretty good partnership. It's great for them because they get healthy food, and it's great for us because we can farm in our own community, and we can continue farming and do it in a way that we enjoy. Hopefully you won't have to see us struggling with any Yeah, they're all right.
I love to be here, and that is my last week. That's gonna be my last week, and I love to dig potatoes. I like to drive tractors, but I know that sometimes I don't drive properly. I know, Bruce. I broke some pipes and stuff. It's alright, but it's alright. Hello. That's nice.
Keep the wagon. Just give us the other wagon.
All right. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Thank you, Bruce.
Okay.
See you. Yeah. Orders. New orders. Yeah, it's nice. Now we're gonna have to take a tractor. That's so exciting, man. For you know what I mean? Come in if you want.
The woofers, wheeling workers on organic farms, and there's a group that sends a catalog all over the world, and it's got names of farms all over Canada or whichever country you're going to. They'll try and call a week ahead to the farm, and they'll say, do you need any help? And we'll say, sure, we'd love to have some help.
Get out of here!
The agreement is that they get a place to stay, and they get food to eat, and they trade for a set number of hours a week. Not too many hours, but lots of great food. And on an organic vegetable farm, it's pretty easy to feed people. they come from all over the world. We've had people like Alfredo, who's from Spain. We've had people from Japan, Taiwan, Germany, Switzerland, England, Austria, everywhere you can think of, just about. Italy. We have a couple from a kibbutz in Israel, and it's great. It's like we learn and we learn from them, and they learn from us, and we try and make them feel at home and invite them to our table and so on, and just treat them with respect, and it's fun all the way around. It's a great program.